Man, imagine being the most underrated prince in the kingdom, left in the middle of the chaos, facing the Demon King all alone. Everyone's running away from the city, which is on fire, and this kid is there, man, smiling, like he's got everything under control, just to solve a personal issue that in reality has nothing to do with him. Or does it? I bet you'll even find it strange when you find out what this guy is hiding. And just a heads up, this kid is definitely not normal. What's up, my prince, with magic power overflowing? How are you? Everything good? Just stopping by real quick to ask you not to forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video to give that support, alright? So let's get to the end of this story. Lloyd healed Ren and ordered everyone to leave the palace immediately. The demon was after them, man. Guirsemy was not at all happy with the situation. No one questioned it. Galilea picked up Ren in his arms while running, even though she protested leaving Lloyd alone against such a powerful enemy. As soon as the group fled, Guirsemy reappeared as if nothing had happened, ordering his minions to chase after the assassin village. Lloyd then launched an attack with magical circles to stop the pursuit, destroying a large part of the palace in the process. However, Guirsemy dodged everything with ease, and even Lloyd's magical barriers were being pierced by the curses he cast. Grim was dealing with something far beyond the known limits. Guirsemy didn't fit into any of the 10 known demon categories. The big guy was simply the Demon King, something that even 100 first-class demons wouldn't be able to defeat. Even so, Lloyd didn't retreat a bit. He said he was just the 7th prince, but that he was there for Jade and for the mess Guirsemy caused. And that's when they decided to go at it. Lloyd defending himself with multiple layers of barriers, while Guirsemy cast hundreds of curses at once. He fused several into one single blow and broke all of Lloyd's defenses. During the battle, Guirsemy philosophized, saying that demons were just beings rejected by humanity, and that the world needed to accept death as something natural. Does this guy think he's burning Socrates to philosophize in the middle of a fight? Then the battle got even more brutal, with certain invisible magic hitting Lloyd over and over again, until he fell to the ground motionless. Meanwhile, the Assassin Guild was facing Guirsame's followers. Galilea used webs to contain the enemies, and Crow forced them to retreat, but the demons resisted, so Thalia stabbed a sword into her own foot to keep the enemies under control. At that moment, Galilea decided he was going to stay with her and fight until the end. Thalia prepared to cut her own throat, planning to die with the enemies. The queen cried. Everyone was on the brink of freedom, but now it was going to be destroyed, and everything would be taken from them. As she began the fatal blow, Galilea secured the demons with his webs. Back at the palace, Guirsemy mocked the idea of cursed beings living in harmony with humans. He looked at Lloyd's body, frustrated that his fun had ended so soon, until the body turned into solid dust. It was just a magical clone. At that moment, Lloyd reappeared next to Grim, almost catching Guirsemy off guard. He knew all his previous tactics had failed, so he suggested they change the battlefield. At that very moment, the guild was attacked from behind the portal. They were on the verge of losing hope when, out of nowhere, the gate was destroyed by an immense force. Albert and the reinforcements arrived just in time to save Lloyd and the guild members. As soon as they arrived, they were shocked to see the city overtaken by demons. Well, it's no wonder. Seeing a whole kingdom overrun by demons isn't something you see every day. When Ray sighed in relief, Albert stared coldly and said that the Assassin Guild was the real problem. Silpha simply drew her sword, demanding to know where Lloyd was, threatening to decapitate each of them if they didn't talk. Galilea said Lloyd was fighting in the palace, and Ray explained that he was facing a demon king because of them. But Babylon stopped her, reminding her that according to Lloyd's instructions, they were to always keep their powers a secret. Impatient, Silpha decided she was going to cut off Ray's head, until Albert interrupted her, but only to order them to eliminate the adults first. When he presented Lloyd's underwear as evidence of the crime, their negligence, the tension exploded. Galilea made things worse by telling them they had left their clothes drying with bodily fluids on them and almost ate him. Come on, guys. They just made things worse. They should have just said it was a mistake. Ray started crying and defended everyone, saying that Lloyd was fighting for them and that she would accept any punishment. Allie, riding on that special horse, defeated a demon that attacked her and said she trusted Ray, adding that the horse would have devoured her if it sensed any bad intentions. Albert then decided to believe in her and ordered Silpha to go after Lloyd and organize the defenses. Suddenly, arrows fell from the sky, destroying the bridge, and then several demons began emerging from the river, surrounding the group. Albert commanded a retreat to the shore. On the other side, Lloyd and Guirsemy resumed their duel, with Lloyd dodging the attacks while thinking about how he would win. Grim revealed that Guirsemy wasn't just a first-class demon, he was above all categories. The guy was simply the Demon King, and the protagonist's attacks barely tickled him. Meanwhile, Silpha tried to cross to the other side with a shot, but failed to float. A demon attacked, but she easily defeated it, and realized it was a lower category than Pazuzu. On the other side, Albert reflected on the chaos in Lordost, and committed to freeing all the possessed humans. When a demon attacked from behind, Babylon saved him by twisting the enemy's neck 360 degrees. He said that, despite the guild's dark past, they fought to live, without trivializing death. Inspired, Albert incinerates the entire area with a devastating spell. While he's using all his mana, Silpha faces the underworld swordsman. They're on equal footing, even shocking the assassin guild. How could a maid fight like that? When he tries to steal Ren's body, he quickly changes his mind upon realizing that Silpha's power is threatening, and decides to take her body instead. He begins using a technique from Lord Ost, revealing that the former owner of the body trained tirelessly with their left hand. There it is. You know, when using the left hand, it feels like a completely different person. Just a little tip there. But Silpha surprises him. She's been learning the technique just by watching, without needing to possess anyone. Then she pulls out a sword that was hidden in Shiro's fur. This sword was forged by Lloyd and Dion. It has the strength and flexibility necessary to withstand all of Silpha's techniques. She remembers when Lloyd said he knew she controlled her strength to avoid breaking regular swords, so he made this sword especially for her. Silpha promised to protect it like a precious gift. The swordsman reveals that demons took the throne of Lord Ost to lure Jade and provoke him. The enraged king rushes to attack, but Silpha knocks him down with a single punch. With the stage set, Silpha vows to stop the war and the demon advance. The swordsman activates his secret technique, the demon blade, and charges at her with everything he's got. But this badass maid, Silpha, simply obliterates him with one hit, ending the fight in a single move. She just wrecked the guy with one blow, and then passed the trouble onto that other bad demon. Come on, this is what happens in anime. The guy waits for his special power, suffers, gets beaten up, and then uses the special move at the end. Dude, just wreck him right from the start. Use your strongest attack and destroy him. If it doesn't work, then fine, you lost, it's over. Don't tank it like Goku, man. Goku gets beat up, becomes a Super Saiyan, then gets beat up again, then becomes Super Saiyan 2, and then Super Saiyan 3. Man, just go Super Saiyan 3 from the start and wreck the guy already, for the love of God. Oops, lost my train of thought there, sorry guys, let's get back to the story. After Silpha defeated the demon swordsman, she approaches the body and laments not having faced someone so skilled with the Lord Ost technique in a fair duel. Ren cries, saying she didn't know him, but feels emotional thinking that maybe he was happy before he died. Silpha realizes that, despite the title of assassins, the group still holds on to human emotions. Man, that title doesn't even make sense. They gave that title just because they did the dirty work, you know? On the other side of where they were, the bridge collapses. Amidst the chaos, Lloyd appears, still facing Guirsami, trying to figure out how to dodge his attacks and find a weak point in him. He realizes that the enemy is only trying to wear him down until his energy runs out. To change up the game, Lloyd summons a giant flame entity and forces Guirsami to dodge. Already anticipating this, Lloyd activates a backup plan. He uses spectral detection to track him through the smoke. He realizes that Guirsami needs a line of sight to teleport, so he hides with several clones. Surrounded, Guirsami begins eliminating them one by one, until he realizes that the real Lloyd is using a different sword. But when he charges and reaches him, landing a blow, he realizes it was another clone. In this back and forth of illusions, almost like a song lyric, Lloyd manages to actually injure him. Even so, he knows that's not enough, so he decides to deliver a final blow and charges his sword with all the spells he's gathered so far. This is a technique not even Jade has mastered, but Lloyd is determined to give it a shot. When activating the technique, Lloyd is transported to a world of spells and talismans, trying to find Jade's traces, but to no avail. When he returns to the fight, he faces Guirsami directly. The villain taunts him, saying Lloyd is just as broken as he is, and that he's only fighting for a group of losers. But Lloyd responds firmly, "Lions don't ask why they have claws, they just use them." So, with a punch reinforced by his breathing technique, Lloyd finally lands a real blow on Guirsami. Sitting down, he taunts the enemy to show him more, as if it were just training. Guirsami gets angry but trembles when he hears Jade's voice echo in his mind, reminding him that he could lose to this kid. Furious, Guirsami charges at him. Lloyd lands successive kicks, making it harder for Guirsami to recover. Lost, not knowing where to escape to, Guirsami finds himself pushed in one direction. Even while trying to flee, Guirsami can barely locate himself. He returns to the surface, nearly out of strength. Lloyd taunts him, saying he'll kill him if he doesn't get more fun out of this. In a maximum fury attack, Guirsami reveals his final card. He summons a massive black sphere, called the Sphere of Mortal Darkness. Classic anime name, right? Classic anime attack name. Lloyd and Grim watch in surprise as the Demon King's magic condenses, aiming to destroy everything around them. The guy is basically doing a dark Genki Dama, but it is what it is. Guirsami then launches his sphere at Lloyd, but is shocked to see it vanish in midair. Lloyd explains that he used the vacuum spell, capable of sending any magic to another dimension and simply disintegrating it. Man, that's insane. Totally overpowered. He mentioned that he developed this technique by testing collisions between magic spheres, which deeply irritated Guirsame. Furious, he attempted to absorb Lloyd's body, but was horrified to realize the incomprehensible magnitude of his magical energy. Lloyd then bombarded him with dozens of vacuum spheres, making him vanish into nothingness. Meanwhile, Albert and Dean fought against the demons, guided by the noses of Shiro and Lyra. The Queen kept warning them not to breathe too deeply, as she still couldn't fully control her poison. When Albert noticed the sky remained dark, even with the threatening dawn, everyone realized something was off that night. In the vacuum, Guirsame even tried to escape. He pretended to be Jade, begging for his life, but Lloyd, impassive, finished off the demon for good. After the victory, Jade's ghost appeared, smiling at Lloyd, before disappearing with the first rays of sunlight. The Queen remembered Jade's words about the birth of the seventh prince, that a magical incident had occurred in the palace that day, and that maybe, someday, this very prince would save all the cursed. In honor of Jade, Lloyd built a symbolic tomb with his emblem, as his body had been entirely consumed by the void. Grimm praised Lloyd's courage in using the vacuum spell. Lloyd explained that he had tracked Guirsame with a reflective spell linked to the technique of the wolves in the shadows, which was basically Jade's teleportation technique that he managed to decipher during the battle. He also discovered there that Jade had left behind a hidden legacy for whoever could surpass him. The Queen, listening in silence, became emotional and went to thank Lloyd for avenging Jade. When Albert approached, Grimm hid. Albert, knowing everything, revealed that the Assassin Guild had sought his help and had been surrounded by demons, creating an immensely chaotic situation. He said that, despite their bravery, he would need to arrest them for their crimes. But he gave them a light pass, you know? He said they could serve under supervision as compensation for their crimes. Lloyd then took full responsibility for the guild, offering an official apology. Albert knelt before his brother and hugged him, telling him never to isolate himself again, thinking he wasn't important just because he was the youngest. Soon after, Thalia appeared, worried, but upon realizing everything was resolved, she turned her back, thinking her presence was irrelevant. The group chased after her to thank her for facing Pazuzu. Grimm said that Lloyd not only accepted the guild members, but also saw them as a new limit in the magical world. Albert decided to celebrate the end of the conflict in the guild's style. During the celebration, Thalia tried to seduce Albert, who almost gave in until he remembered his brother's traumatic liquid underwear experience, and quickly pulled away. Yeah bro, better not, you know? Ren, grateful, asked Silpha to work alongside Lloyd. Silpha said the decision was up to him. When they found him in the bathroom, Lloyd said he had no objections, and even suggested she turn her poison into a form of healing, reformulating her curse into a useful magic, maybe even as a pharmacist. Ren was moved, seeing that her curse could save lives. For the first time, someone believed in her potential, and she promised she would dedicate herself to the task he had given her. Days later, Ren becomes a personal maid under Silpha's supervision. When Lloyd meets King Charles, alongside Albert, he's just expecting to get scolded, but he's surprised with praise. The king congratulates him for following his own path and living the way he wanted, dedicated to magic since the day he was born, aka a magic nerd, as he is. And so, we end the first season with our seventh prince absolutely soloing the Demon King. I mean, the Demon King from an isekai is the final boss, and this guy just soloed him in the first season. What comes next? Explain it to me. So, what's the kid going to do now? Defeat God, huh? Is that it? He's going to become the god of the world? If you want to know what happens in the second season, leave a like on this video, comment that you want the second season, and I'll definitely bring it to the channel. Got it. I'm signing off here. Don't forget to subscribe to give that support. Check out this other anime I'm leaving here. I'm out. Take care, my dude. See you at the next anime.